to another episode of Wine About It.
Hello.
Cheers. It's always fun to be here. Of course, we mixed it up today. We're going live on a Thursday and not a Wednesday, but hey, we figured we had to be here anyway. We didn't want to wait till next week to do this
We like
amazing
to
color analysis.
keep it kind of exciting.
It's funny because maybe we should switch the days. We always say that, but I don't know.
Well, we started out because wine and Wednesday sounded good together, but Thursday's kind of a fun day to do it as well because it always cheers me up to meet with the ladies. Not meet with the ladies, but like hang with the ladies and have wine. And Thursday's kind of a great day to like be cheered up. So because you've had a rugged week and meetings on Thursday, so I'm thinking maybe we should switch it up and meet with our girlies on Thursdays.
And Friday's tomorrow, so everyone's in a good mood. And Thursdays are just
I'll be in a better mood at Friday at like 8. We've been working long days, as you know.
Yeah. So
today actually, you guys, we've been putting up new websites. And the Color Me Beautiful website is new and fresh. You can't really tell because the theme looks the way it used to, but it's got a lot of new features. And we're learning to, we're going to do some new things with, kind of a new theme vibe. And Sarah, you look how pretty your eyes look today with your eyeshadow. And the Adrienne Arpel website is new and fresh. So that's why we've been putting in these long hours.
All right. So today we're talking color analysis, and we have a really good episode today. A lot of our models tend to be younger, which, it still shows the power of color. But what you don't get to see with the younger models is like fine lines and wrinkles or laugh lines and crow's feet and your chin, like what it does to your chin exactly. So that's something that we want to start getting more into is a slightly older model. All of these models tend to just go younger. Models in general, their ages are a lot younger, and not so much older women models. Oh,
hello.
So today,
goodbye.
Yeah, today we have a spring model who is more of a mature model, and you are going to be shocked when you see color analysis on a slightly more mature woman.
There's Michelle. We haven't seen Michelle in ages.
It's good to see
Michelle. Thank you for saying that.
I
think Sarah relies on me as her older person, and so I can show off, what a great benefit you get from wearing the right color. Because when you're wearing the right color, this just goes whoop.
Yeah.
So we're going to show you the benefit on some other folks as well.
So I'm going to go ahead and grab our first model and say goodbye to you guys. We are not going to see our lovely faces anymore because we are going to see our model right here. So we have a more mature model. She does have some fine lines and wrinkles around her eyes.
But she does look good.
Yeah, she looks incredible. But she is a model, for instance. But I wanted to point out some key features that we look at when we do color analysis. As you know, hair is so important to us. Hair is one of our key factors that we look at because if you notice, there was so much hair. There's so much of that color in particular in this image. Eyes are another really key factor for us because you want those eyes to really show up and show off. So we also take a look at eye color. Skin tone, not as much. Skin tone can be a little tough, especially there's such small nuances between a warm and a cool skin tone that hair really takes over that aspect. Because if this model right here dyed her hair black, she would be shifted into a completely different season. So that's why we take a look at hair and not as much skin tone, and eye color does weigh a decent amount on color analysis. But here we have our model. So we have an aqua teal eye color, stunning eyes. We have a golden blonde hair. I pulled different colors of the hair just so you can see. It really is just a golden yellow blonde. Is the best way to describe it. And what kind of, I think I've already told you what her season was accidentally earlier, but you can kind of tell from if you watch these videos what her season is based on that golden blonde hair and that turquoise eye color.
And look at those eyebrows. That that's kind of
Mhm.
key because they've got a lot of red. She's got a lot of strawberry kind of blonde going on there.
And eyebrows are really a key giveaway to what the natural hair looks like. We do take into consideration the brows just because, I mean, it's kind of a key giveaway. If you look at her hair colors, those two colors that I pulled, the bottom one is a bit of her brow color. It's kind of like a warm reddish brown. So
Yeah.
I keep saying warm. I keep saying golden. I also said turquoise teal for her eye color, which all encompasses that spring palette. So she is a spring. And if we took the Color Me Beautiful color quiz, we would click on her aqua eyes, then we would click on her light golden blonde hair, and it would drop us off in her spring palette, and she would know that she's a spring. So my favorite part that
Indeed.
I love to show is wrong versus right makeup colors, because that's really what it's all about. So let's go ahead and take a look at her wearing right colors on the left versus wrong colors on the right. And take a look at that.
Ouch.
I know. You know what's so funny is that's what wearing the wrong color does. Even though on the left-hand side, she's wearing the right colors, but on the right, we immediately looked at that lip color and the blush, and we just said, poof. We didn't even look at her good side. We looked immediately at that right side and said, wow.
And well, first of all, I've got to stop our talking on the video and say hello to Grisha, and hello Belgium, yay, welcome. Now back to the video. What I see is a woman who looks like she's on the right side in the wrong colors, that she just looks kind of like a tart. I'm sorry, Sarah. I know that you're cringing and saying, Mom, you can't say that. But it's true.
It's a bit hurtful. Okay, they're not the right colors. She still looks amazing though. I mean, come on, she's
but I'm saying, like, if you okay, let's say that you saw her out and about, and you saw the image on the left and the person on the left, and you would think, oh my goodness, glorious, absolutely beautiful woman. And then you saw the woman on the right, and I think you would say, oh, ooh. Oh, Rhonda has a good point. She says it's more clownish. And in a way, I see that. Yes, better. That's a better adjective. Thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate your comment.
So when you say clownish, I want to mention something as well, because it looks like her blush is extremely heavy on the right side, but actually the blush on the left and the blush on the right are at the same exact intensity. The same exact intensity. It's unbelievable how that blush on the left just melts into her warm skin tone versus on the right. It's going gray underneath her eyes and it's going heavy on her cheeks because it is a blue-based pink on the right. So it's just going gray against her warm skin tone. But those blushes, exact same intensity.
Lori, I love you. I know I get so into the comments. Lori says, you went way back. My grandma used the word tart and trollop. I'm a grandma, Lori, so I totally feel you. I feel your grandma too. Tell her hi. Yeah, and Sarah, you know what else is correct about that? What happens is when you say melt into the skin, it literally does. I mean, basically, when something is harmonious, it does. Everything melts into each other and looks like it is of a piece. And when something is not harmonious, it sits on top of. And Michelle just says the right side, it looks like it's pulling her cheeks down. And yes, it does. It looks like it's kind of, well, you're right, Michelle. And it looks like it's dragging her whole face down as well. And it brings attention to the lines that are under the cheekbones. If you notice on the left side, everything looks uplifted. And on the right side, this area under her gorgeous cheekbones, she's got a beautiful facial structure, but this area under her cheekbones it accentuates the lines that are coming down toward her chin and really makes them prominent.
Mhm. And we have to talk about the fine lines or wrinkles. Thank you, Michelle, for bringing that up. Look around her eyes. Kind of glance back and forth. Photo on the right, it's just given that gray. She looks tired on the right versus on the left. She looks uplifted. And then once again, I got to remind you, the only things adjusted on these photos are the blush and the lipstick. That's it. None of the wrinkles, none of the fine lines, nothing else. Just the blush and lipstick. And look how gray her laugh lines are going around her mouth on the right versus on the left. Her eyes, the crow's feet, going gray on the right versus the left, they're looking uplifted. Everything's just melting on the left versus the right, where it's just being exaggerated.
And the nasolabial folds, they're deeper on the right than on the left. And I know that you deliberately don't touch anything like that. Joyce, not even the foundation color. This is an exercise that we do that actually it's almost a scientific exercise. We want you to see. We don't touch that stuff. We want you to see what color does.
And Joyce is talking foundation color. Look how gray the area around her forehead is looking on the right. You kind of see the grayness around the hairline, and the color is trying to pull against what she is. Her hair color is even going a little bit cool as well on the right, because those colors are just trying to shift her from warm on the left to cool on the right. Like, look on the left, her hair looks more golden, it looks more vibrant.
Yeah, on the right, even her eye color. I mean, I have no. Oh, Rhonda's thanking you for using a mature. We have to do a lot more mature models.
Yes, we need to be better with that.
Even if you look at her eye color, kind of just sort of shift your eyes from left to right on her eyes, and you'll notice that even her eye color looks a little bit cooler blue on the right side than the left side. It's everything kind of changes because your eye wants to make it harmonious, but it's not. So that's how, certainly the eye color doesn't really matter, but that's how negative things happen. That's how the lines get heavier. That's how things look like they're sinking down.
And I mean, it just wants to make everything gray in that right image. So really, if you're a warm season out there, really think about your warm tone lipsticks, your warm tone blushes, because that is really key to making sure it's all melting in and going with your natural coloring. Versus on the right, where we tossed her in a I mean, we did pick very bad shades for her based off being a spring. So we did try to pick the opposite shades just to show you what it can look like. We probably could have, found something like a lighter, softer blush that's not so much a winter.
As we learned last week, there are always kind of things that go a little universal that aren't horrific, but that we're making a point here. We're trying to just show where we're headed. And Michelle made a comment. She mentioned men, and she's getting lots of men coming in for color analysis. And of course, I'm going to go off topic and mention that over in the UK, we had so many of MPs, members of parliament, that were getting color analysis done because that was when the book Color for Men came out. That became, they were all telling each other about it, and it became a huge thing over there. Here, not so much, because we're Americans. We kind of do our own thing. We don't want people telling us, our men. We don't want people telling us how to dress, but we should, as you know, Michelle. But it was awesome, and they were looking great. They are looking. Look at those guys. So absolutely, right down to the color of their shirts.
And I just saw another comment. Let me double check who it was from. They were mentioning, imagine if she was in a cool foundation.
Cool foundation, yeah.
Who said that? I can't find it.
Well, Joyce.
Oh, okay. Joyce was mentioning, imagine how wrong it would be if she was wearing a cool foundation. And what's funny is if she was, it would take her hair, it would try to remove the gold out of it as well. And then it would also show off those fine lines and wrinkles. And she'd probably have a very bad line from where her face ends and her chest begins. So yes, if she was wearing a cool base foundation, it would be even worse.
Well, let me tell you about my experience from this week. So I got some of that glossifier for my hair, and they say it doesn't deposit any color on your hair. And I was like, okay. And they said this is a very cool for somebody with very cool hair, gray or ash color cool hair. And so I put it on my hair, for gloss. And I was thinking, oh, it'll be totally okay. And when it was done, my hair, I looked like a pro wrestler. You know those guys with the yellow hair?
Mhm.
And I guess when you're really cool and your hair's really cool and your skin tone's really cool, that when you put something on your hair that they call ash, which we all know is supposed to be really cool, by contrast, it doesn't look so cool. So I had to strip it all off, and it was not my best moment. And I was pretty horrified when I looked in the mirror because it was yellow. Sarah, you may have noticed it at some point because I wasn't able to strip it off immediately. Thank goodness I work from home. Did you notice it?
I don't think I did. Sorry.
That's okay. But anyway, the point is when you are something, when you are really warm, then you will, anything that's kind of off kilter, you will make it look more off kilter.
Mhm.
And when you are really cool, like I was, and this wasn't as cool as I was, then I looked ridiculous. Even though somebody who wasn't as cool as me, on them, it would look ash or cool.
Mhm. And it really does try to shift you when you wear for instance, our warm model here is wearing these cool colors. It's going to try to shift her as much as possible to looking cooler, but it just looks off-putting. So that's why we are very careful, especially with mature models, anyone who is a bit older. Be very careful with that because fine lines and wrinkles, it shows the jaw lines, it shows the drooping, the sagging. So just be very, very careful when choosing your makeup colors. And these, once again, last time I'm going to say it, but it just blows me away. Blush and lipstick, only thing that changed. We went from cool or warm on the left to cool on the right. Only thing that shifted.
Wait until you see the clothing. Oh my goodness.
So I'll go ahead and grab that now. Because of course we had to put her in winter colors. Now winter is still a bright season, so we have to remember those jewel tones. Winter can still wear, and they can also and springs can wear the teals because they're bright. But we're looking at warm versus cool. And I did her eye color just to bring out and enhance her eyes a bit. But man, having this heavy blue against her, this cool winter blue, it's
not her best. Before we get into the color, could I speak to a question that Joyce asked? It says, speaking of aging, would you recommend shifting from more intense colors in your palette to less intense ones as the skin grays? I would just stick with your palette. And here's what I mean by that. I have a cousin who is a winter, and she's 90 years old, and she has salt and pepper gray hair. And she wears this blue, just a vivid blue. She wears vivid red. She wears a vivid red lipstick, or red carpet red lipstick. You know who I'm talking about, Sarah. And she is absolutely gorgeous. And she looks magnificent. Now, on the other hand, I used to be an autumn, and I could wear colors like Sarah. I could wear chili and blaze, and and I love to do that. But now that I'm a summer, not so much. And even when I wear some of the more intense summer lipsticks and things, I don't feel right. I mean, Sarah will be like, "Mom, put on, come on, put on a more vivid lipstick. Come on, But I tend to, I like a softer lipstick. I personally just feel a little more comfortable in it. So I think it depends on your season. Now, definitely for eyes, that's where lips follow your palette. But for your eyes, I very strongly recommend that you do all of your color work on the outer corner, and then highlight under your brow, and everything else, just make it kind of your natural skin tone. Gabby just said, you changed palettes? ? Yes, I did. I started out as a spring. When I was a little girl, I was a little golden blonde.
I should bring you up for a second because just so you can see, I'm going to bring both of us up.
You bring yourself up.
I know, that's why, because I wanted to make sure people knew the shift.
She's my daughter, that one. And both of us, when we were young, we were golden blonde kids. She was a golden blonde kid more recently than I was. But golden blonde hair, we were springs. Look good in blue, you know, whatever. So when I reached, I don't know, I don't even remember, but I remember the story about her. So she was a cheerleader. She was a competitive cheerleader. So from the time she was like 6. So she constantly wanted to have her hair highlighted. So from her little blondness, we would highlight her little hair so she could go to competitions. And so she did this until middle school or high school.
I have
somewhere
around. No idea. You know I'm not good with dates like that.
Finally, I put my foot down and I said, Sarah, I'm done with this. I'm not paying to have this done anymore. You're going to just deal with, we're going to find your natural color. We're going to dye your hair the natural color. And this is it. We're not going to, this is ridiculous. I'm not paying for this anymore. And so turns out that was her natural color by the time when she reached puberty. And in fact, by the time I was like early teens, 13, 14, it was my natural color. So I went from a spring to an autumn. This is me. I'm a summer. So I'll never be a winter. I've never been a winter, but I've been 3 seasons in my lifetime, and Sarah likely, unless she decides to color her hair, excuse me, I have a cat issue. Unless she decides to color her hair, she too will be 3 seasons.
And you know, now, our favorite thing to do is put you in autumn colors that you looked amazing in when you were younger, and put you in the autumn colors now. I think. How many videos ago? One of our, like, I want to say like 3 or 4 videos ago. Oh, it's the one with the color palettes. If you find the one with the swatch fans, we actually talk about that and drape you in autumn seasons. So like she mentioned earlier, she used to have this color hair. Some of my favorite colors, we draped her in them at now with her gray hair. Oh.
Awful.
It was not pretty.
Joyce asked a very good question. We're going off topic, but this is a really important issue. And we've got 3 folks right here who had basically the same question. My skin tone did change. I became, Sarah, put your hand up. I don't know if we can show this. I became very pink. She's golden. And I used to be golden, but I don't know if you can see it, but I became very pink. What happened was I just grayed out. I just kind of became, oh, my cousin who still rocks the winter, because she was always a winter. She looked like Elizabeth Taylor when she was little. Black hair, emerald eyes. She was gorgeous. And then as she aged, her hair went to salt and pepper. So, and she always had this porcelain skin tone, and that on her never changed. But for me, and Sarah has this porcelain skin, but for me, and so when I lost my autumn hair and lost my color in my skin, everything just kind of looked soft. Well, we're both soft seasons, as you know. She's soft and I'm soft.
Oh, yeah. So autumns and summers are both soft.
But all my warmth went away. And that happens. If you look at research, as you age, you lose, Holly is saying that she was a spring and autumn, and so it happens. As you lose melanin in your skin, as you age, there are certain elements of your melanin that dissipate faster. And that happens to be the thing that makes your hair red, and it's in your skin tone as well. So many of us, as you see what Holly is saying, who happen to have our coloring, will do what we have done, which is I grayed out. Yeah, but I'm not upset about it. I like being a summer.
And we should say, for cooler seasons, you don't tend to change just because you stay cooler. But warmer seasons, of course, we go gray. It happens. And so what doesn't look great on us, I mean, there's colors now that if you were to, we might have to do a going gray episode and do autumn colors on you versus summer colors. Yeah, I have so much fun with that.
Winters Our winters are winters are winters. I am willing to tell. Oh, and when their hair goes white, pure white, salt and pepper gray, or black, they stay winters.
Winters.
So winters are winters are winters are winters. But it's folks like us that you see make a change. And we also somewhere, and we'll do a show. Stick with us, and we'll do a show. We posted a picture of me as a little girl, Sarah as a little girl with our blonde hair, and then we did a teen picture of us with our red hair, and so forth. And it was fun to look at.
I wonder if I can find that. If you keep
Joyce, you're saying it's hard for you to tell spring versus summer. It's easy, mostly. You look for gold or red highlights for your springs. And if for example, you can see gold or red highlights in the hair, she's likely spring. And she's likely doing what this model is doing that we showed you. If there's no gold or red highlights, like, you don't really see gold or red, you see mostly gray. It's mostly cool. And, my eyes are kind of an icy blue like this. Then it's safe to say at this point in my life, I'm a summer.
So I found the photo. I'm gonna
show it. Which one?
I'm gonna upload it. I found you in your 3 stages.
Oh, good.
Let's go ahead, and we get to look at baby photos of you.
Holly's saying that her mom did the same thing. Holly, show this to your mom. Ah! So embarrassing. Yeah, that's me. No fake color. And people say, I have a grandson who looks exactly like that, only if we put a little blonde wig on my grandson, Wyatt, he would look just like that.
So this is how, and this is all natural, no dyed hair, nothing. You went from spring to and autumn, as in my color, autumn. So this very deep red color, and then of course we all gray. And I believe melanosites, is that what they're called?
And it's a certain kind of melanocyte that just poof, evaporates.
I mean, that's why your hair goes gray. That's why your skin, if you look at somebody who's a lot older, you'll notice their skin kind of becomes transparent and pink. So they go cool. And that's what happens as we age.
And if you look at how warm my skin tone is there, compared to how warm it shows in the photo or here,
Yeah, so this has been fun.
I know it is. We got a little off topic, but
well, hey, this is color analysis, and this is why it's so important.
Rhonda, your comment is correct. She hasn't gotten there yet. If she still has reddish gold in her hair, she's not summer yet.
Right. So we should mention that there is, when you start going gray and you still have that gold in your hair, so you haven't fully grayed. There's still gold, and it's still leaning warm. But once it goes completely, there's no richness or warmth in the hair at all, that's when you kind of make that shift.
Joyce, it will never reverse. We'll never get our melanocytes back. I could dye my hair blonde, I suppose.
Right. I was going to say.
When I did that ash thing, that glossifier, and it was supposed to just be ash and not blonde, and I saw myself with a little bit of a blonde tint, I did not like the way I looked. I've always toyed with the idea of maybe dyeing my hair blonde at this point in my life, because one of the things they tell you is if you dye your hair blonde when you're 65, I'm 66. So if you dye your hair blonde and you don't stay gray, you'll look younger. Then, you'll look at, oh, I looked awful. Now, Joyce is saying, is it always a tendency toward cool? Or you always move toward cool, because those warm melanocytes, they just get tired and wear out, and they just.
Yeah, I can't think of any instance where somebody has gone.
This is another good question. Why did I become a summer, not a winter? And why would a winter not become a summer? Very good.
Well,
very good.
And we should also mention, are you gonna become a winter? Because who knows what happens?
So here's the thing. Here's the difference. Winters and summers are both cool, right? But the difference is winters have tons of contrast. When they're born winters, they have black hair, pale skin or black hair, and deep dark skin, and tons of contrast. But for me, if you look, even in my seasonal transitions there, I never had a ton of contrast. My cousin, who with black hair, green eyes, Elizabeth Taylor, Snow White, that was, lots of contrast. She always had, tons of contrast. So even as winters age, they can still pull off high contrast looks. Even when their hair is white, they've still got the dark eyebrows. Like, I don't know if you've ever known these gorgeous aged Italian ladies. They still have the deeper eyebrows. They still have the contrast, but their hair may be white. They have that visual contrast. That is a winter. Me, I don't have that visual contrast. That is a summer. When I said Sarah and I are both soft seasons, autumns are soft, summers are soft. Winters are bold and contrasty. Springs are bold and contrasty. So I became a summer from an autumn. I stayed soft all the way through. Winters, winters are winters are winters.
Mm-hmm. So we really should say those cooler seasons always tend to stay cooler seasons, but the warmer seasons as we age. And there are instances dyeing your hair is going to keep you in that autumn palette or the spring palette. Plenty of people do that if they don't want to go gray.
And Lori, to your point, you said that that she would have always been an autumn with rich chestnut hair and amber eyes. I have a friend, Patsy, who has an amber eye. And although technically, don't tell anybody I told you this, but her hair is gray. But she colors her hair because she absolutely will not be seen with the gray hair. And she has elected to stay in autumn because she has an amber eye. Her eye is the color of amber. And that is how she feels the most comfortable. And she wears rust and pumpkin and olive. And, that's her thing. I have another friend, Mary Beth, who has a green eye. And she was a redhead, a more vivid redhead, almost going toward strawberry, but not strawberry.
Yeah.
Irish red. And she has gone gray, but she still has little bits of red in her hair. But still, she's elected to move toward the summer palette. She looks great in it. So some of it is what you choose. But can you imagine, I don't know if I can get close to this, but can you imagine me dyeing my hair to be Sarah's color, which used to be no, you got to go the other way. Other way. Come this way. Yeah. No, just wouldn't be. And Sarah tells me, I don't know if she tells me this to make me feel good, but she says she's looking forward to becoming gray someday and having this riot of curly gray hair. So at least she knows what to expect.
Yeah, I got another 10 years, and actually,
I went gray really early, mostly because she was my kid.
I blame that on my brother, not me. So
all right. I blame it on my brother too. She was a perfect child. Are we going to do the show or not? We got way off.
Well, I mean, we pretty much finished it. We saw the before and after. We saw what happens when you're in your wrong season. We now talked about how you can transition. I mean, this was the ultimate.
And you got to see my baby pictures. Video. I mean,
oh yeah,
we've done the whole deal.
Baby pictures are a bonus. So, if you're mature, I hate to say the word mature. I feel like there should be a better word for.
Because I am not mature. Sarah says having me as a mother is more like having a child. She has 2 children.
I do check on you. Holly, is there a royal cobalt or bright blue Springs can wear? I believe you asked the same question a little bit earlier.
Was it classic blue?
I can't remember. So Springs can wear a very vivid, bright periwinkle. But what?
Well, not periwinkle. That's a summer. That's a more toward a lavender blue. But the spring blue shifts a little toward green. Just.
I'm gonna grab that. The color should be showing. Sorry, let me grab the image. Yeah, this should be more like a cobalt vibrant sapphire blue. I'm hoping it's showing up as more of a sapphire. Is it a sapphire blue for you?
But the Springs, it mix a little bit of green in with that and shifted a little more toward Prussian blue.
That's a good Prussian blue. Yeah. So, and not like a Chinese blue thing. If you go Chinese blue, that's going cooler. But if you go
on the lighter side, so she's talking about the turquoise side for a winter. If you want to give the winter a turquoise that's smack dab in their season, go with
Right.
the Chinese blue, which takes out a lot of that green, but still stays in the turquoise family. And you're
Yeah.
talking Chinese
And
blue.
then classic blue is your universal, but winter is going to be like a true blue. Like a really,
Do you know why they call Chinese blue Chinese blue?
I I immediately think of the vases, like those jewelry
Well, think
vases.
of jewelry and vases because there is
Mhm.
a kind of turquoise that originates in China that is different than the turquoise that originates elsewhere, and it is brighter, cleaner, clearer. That is that Chinese blue. Just like there's a Chinese red that is brighter, clearer,
Mhm.
more jewel tone.
So Holly just said her daughter put on a royal blue and it didn't look bad at all on her. So of course, winter and springs share something in common, which is they are both these
Old.
bright, bold, contrasty seasons. So if it's something like a royal blue, which is super bright and bold, it's not going to look bad. It's still going to look good on her. It
And
just
I'll
might
tell you
not
a
be like
secret.
a power shade.
Coloring Beautiful in the UK does things a little bit differently than we do. Just like everything in the UK, they do a little bit differently than we do. But
They spell it with a they
we
spell color
won,
with a U.
we won the war, so I think we should be able to dictate everything. But anyway, they have elected to go with the characteristics. So we define our 4 seasons by certain characteristics: soft, bold, warm, cool. They do too, except they have 2 more characteristics that they consider important, and they don't even go into they go into 6 dominant characteristics. And the thing I always say, like, what would somebody say about you if you were running away from the scene of a crime? Um, they look at warm, they look at cool. Who's warm? Who's cool here? They look at soft versus vivid, or they call it clear, but I think clear is not, I think bold, soft versus bold, soft versus contrasting. And then what's the other one? Soft, bold, warm versus cool, and there's another one. Oh my gosh, it's just popped out of my head. That's why it's the UK. We don't do that one. Light versus deep.
Light, yeah. Light.
Okay, and light versus deep. So if the person was running away from the scene of a crime and they were super light, like Uma Thurman, and you would say, "Oh my gosh, she was super light. Light hair, light skin. She was just running, and all I could see was like this streak of lightness, light." Then they would say, "Oh yeah, she's light." And if you saw somebody running away from the scene of a crime and all you could see was a streak of red hair and it looked like Nicole Kidman and it was like red, everything warm, 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 then you would say, "Oh yeah, okay, she's warm." And so the point is, they do it by dominant characteristics. It's not that you end up being in such a different place.
Yeah, I was gonna say you end up in the same exact place that you are in.
Kind of, except that there are 6 of them. But in the world of Sarah and I, we would both be softs. So what's weird about that is we would end up with warm and cool colors in our palette, and I would just ignore the warms part of our palette. And that's why I like the 4 seasons myself. But it's whatever. Oh, Lori, you're so sweet.
Okay,
Look at a crazy woman. And yes, Glenda, summers can be light. Now we're getting into the 12 palette system, and we need to do a show on the 12 palette system because that's the US. It's one of the US systems where we take the 4 systems and we then divide it into more dominant characteristics of the light, the cool, and the soft, or the deep, the warm, clear, and then you end up with 12. Now, the reason Color Me Beautiful decided to go with the 4 is because we sell makeup. And predominantly with makeup, you only need 4. With the 12 palette system, I did a careful study, a careful analysis of the 4 versus the 12. They are pretty much identical, except for a handful of colors that are distinctive within the 12 palette system. And I found that when I actually got down to my colors within the 12 palette system, I couldn't find them in the store anyway. So because they were so nuanced,
right?
That I felt like I didn't want to put a woman through that. They were so. So that's why we kind of went with the 4 palettes. We are happy. We'll be happy to do a show on the 12. And I have been telling Sarah, I would love to do the digital palettes in the 12 just for anybody who wants to have them. And, if you want, Lori said she would be a clear winter. Clear and something else, with the 12 palette, you're 3. But anyway, so the bottom line is well, you do get overwhelmed, Holly. You do. I do. Some of these ladies don't. They're so they're so nuanced that they know exactly, and it's. I got overwhelmed. But
I was gonna say for like us Autumns and Holly, it would be so hard to find our color. We just wouldn't have any options because they do not cater to warmer seasons like they cater.
Well, actually,
I was going to say to winter.
I beg to differ. In the 12 palette system, they do cater to autumns. Why don't we do a show? We will do a show.
I was talking fashion industries. Fashion industries do not cater.
Oh, no, they do not. Unless they decide to make an entire season's worth of clothes in autumn.
Yeah, like in this color. I mean, or green.
I'm going to give you guys a tip. And Sarah makes fun of me all the time about this, but everybody goes, where do you find clothes in your color? I'll say, oh, it's new. And they'll say, oh, I love that sweater. And it's new. And, classic styles. Do you know where I get my clothes? Thrift store. Because you're not limited to the season's clothes that come out that period of time. And you can shop palette. And I go in, I run down the rack with my fan. I can shop my palette. I know the thrift store where I can get the clothes that I like. J. Crew, J. Jill, all the brands. And I don't have to do the, Nordstrom's out with these weird color with mustard. Sarah, go check out Nordstrom right away because Sarah loves mustard. But everything they have is some variation of mustard.
Right.
Dan.
Yes.
Holly, you too. Go get your mustard. Oh, Holly, I wanted to tell you, we did scarves. I did a scarf for you in watermelon.
Lori said she loves to pop some tags with only $20 in my pocket.
Thank you. I do that too.
All right. Well, I'm glad we got way off topic today. We went way over time. We are so sorry about that. But I hope you found, I hope you actually found this to be useful and informative. And now seasons change, best ways to shop your color. And you also saw a spring model like an hour ago.
And my baby picture.
And your baby pictures. That was absolutely the bonus of this entire show was you as like a 4-year-old. Perfect. I mean, a show doesn't get any better than that.
No, they just keep getting better.
So we really hope you guys enjoyed this episode today. Yes.
This is a good group. Maybe we should do Thursdays.
Yeah. If you guys suggest a better time, normally it's like Wednesday evening, but I feel like
this is fun.
Yeah. What do you guys think? If you have any other times that would be better for you, let us know in the comments because we'll be happy. Oh, we need a brow update. Show us your brows.
Oh, yeah. Okay. They're fading. I think they're fading. Tell me if they're fading. So for those of you who weren't with us last week, I got my brows microbladed a while ago. And I don't know if you noticed with some of the shows, I wasn't on them. Sarah would talk to you and I wasn't even on the screen because I looked like Groucho Marx when they first did them. It was horrifying. And I was like, Sarah, I can't go out because they were black. I mean, it was so horrifying. And so I said, Sarah, what? Oh, Holly says Thursday is good. Okay. So they were black. And I thought, oh my gosh. And Sarah's like, oh, they don't look that bad. Maybe they'll lighten up. And so like another week passed, and they were like really, and then I experimented with putting foundation on top of them. But I think
they look really good.
I think they're better now. I think they've lightened up.
You got them microbladed.
Yes.
We got everyone.
I'm telling you, when they first do them, oh my god. Oh, a tip. So I'm a summer, right? They basically have 2 colors. They have brunette and they have something they call blonde. And she was like, well, you would probably take the blonde. And she brought out the blonde and it was yellow. And I was like, oh no. I can't have yellow eyebrows. No, that's like Bart Simpson. I'll take the brunette, because I was thinking we'll do the brunette, and oh no, and I'll do something with them. I'll figure out a way. And so she put them on, and they were like Groucho Marx, and I was like, it was horrifying, but they're lightening up.
Uh-huh. I'm seeing a ton of comments that they want to see Autumn's going gray. So the post that actually showed your baby photo a little while ago, I'm actually gonna see. Oh, what is Helen Mirren? Is that the right name for her? She was like a super golden blonde.
Yeah, she was a blonde.
Super warm.
Another famous redhead was Susan Sarandon, but she still colors her hair to be red. Mm-hmm. I don't know who else is what other redheads, but we'll find them. We'll find them.
Yeah, we need to find some.
And Holly, we'll do a whole "This is how I microbladed my face" show, and we'll tell you all about it. It was fun.
Who? Why am I
tell your mom to do it? She should do it, because I had no brows, nothing. There was like nothing there.
Yeah, definitely. I think they look really good in person. They are looking amazing. So. We'll once again, we've been for the last like 3 weeks, we've been updating you guys on the brows. So next week we'll do a last minute brow update as well.
Yeah, and we can tell you all about the process. It's horrible. It's painful. it was. I'll tell you the whole.
But now you're about to save a whole lot of time and a whole lot of money, because you're not going to have to spend time doing.
But also, I look like Mona Lisa everywhere I went. I basically look. You know how they used to shave off their brows because of lice during the Middle Ages? I mean, I had nothing up there. And I remember Sarah did this thing. She did this before and after picture where she took off the model's brows, and it was saying, "Look how hideous this woman looks with no brows." And then we put on her brows, and she looks really good, and she's hideous and looks really good. And I'm like, I look in the mirror, and I'm like hideous because I have no brows, and I'm thinking, oh, I need to get my brows microbladed.
I'm so sorry. I did not know that was.
I know you didn't, but you got to do what you got to do, and it was worth the pain. Beauty is pain, ladies, unless you wear the right colors. That's not painful. Fine.
All right. Well, there's the moral of the story today.
But it's good. I mean, it's a funny story. I'll tell you.
Well, we had a wonderful time with everyone today. We're so thankful you guys are here.
Oh, honey, send her my picture. I stayed a summer. We're good.
Holly's asking about pictures. Okay. All right. Well, thank you again. If you guys feel free to keep commenting, we'll come back in the comments and reply. Thank you. Thank you again. We had a really great show with you. We had so much fun talking with everyone, and we'll see you again next week.
Good group.